My name's Ryan Ben. I'm a student at MacEwan University in Public Relations. I'm doing my practicum with Alberta Hate Crimes Committee. To this point, the majority of my work has been revolved around the community conversations that Alberta Hate Crimes Committee was facilitating at Native Friendship Centres across Alberta. A hate crime is any a criminal offense committed against someone or property where the crime is fueled through hatred towards a specific group for any particular reason.
Train cultural people to go into the schools, to the RCMP, to everybody, to bring awareness to them about what's happening in the Aboriginal community.
We look after hate crimes that fall under the criminal code, and then other bodies would look after situations such like unlawful dismissal or something where there could be remedy.
Yeah, we've dealt with, like, on our victim services, we've dealt with a lot of that, like, over the years, like unlawful dismissal, and we do, that's our first referral to them, is directing them to human rights, and Alberta employment.
Have a negative feedback, someone from us gonna act back again, and we're gonna make it worse than what it is. So that's what we hide ourselves. Is if something happened, we don't go on just the impact of after. Yeah.
So I'm a Métis person myself, so it was a very good trip for me to connect and to get into those communities. I also want to, in the future, I want to make a career with dealing with Indigenous groups, if possible. So I learned a lot in how to deal with them, and also I learned a lot from the people when they spoke. So.
The big target is the Indigenous people, because we're surrounded by 4 big reserves and 2 Métis settlements. But in a more specific sense, so it doesn't look so obvious, the target has been the Backstreet Boys here in St. Paul. We have the Backstreet Boys. The Backstreet Boys are Indigenous men and women that frequent the streets here in St. Paul, and usually they get intoxicated. I know for a fact that they fight among themselves, they don't fight outside of that. But in recent times, they've been the target of hate crimes. And when I talk about hate crimes, I'm talking about physical abuse, where a group of people will jump out of a truck and beat that person.
Where somebody attacked him with a bat, he said. And it's because they're intoxicated, they're helpless, they can't, do anything when they're intoxicated. And there was another incident when I first started here. There's 2 older gentlemen that would come frequent the center, and of course by the time afternoon hits, when we're closing the center, they're already nice and feeling happy and buzzed. And they told me too, where they have younger people go to them and they start harassing them too. Just nothing better to do but just to go harass these older gentlemen.
You could see, like I said, the varying degree of hate crimes in the committee. Where there was a stronger relationship with the RCMP, there seemed to be not as many, at least, or not as serious of cases. Whereas St. Paul didn't have that relationship, and they seem to be having the most difficulty with it. I think it's important to have a strong relationship with the police, because that the people need to know that they're there for them and it's somewhere to go when they need to. So
I think hate hurts people in different ways. Hate hurts emotionally. As Inspector Match said, nobody wants to be hated, and if we are hated, we feel emotionally drained. We feel like nobody's around us, nobody's listening. Perhaps we don't have friends if we're hated. So I think hate hurts in many different ways, especially emotionally, through all ages of people, all races of people. and it's something that we have to stop.
You know where you live in a community, a small community. So that's where we're having these home invasions now. So nobody's going to report on these people as to what's happening, the type of violence is going on. Yeah, so that's that fear for their own safety. They're not going to report it.
I think one of the biggest things that I took with me was, especially in St. Paul, but also in other communities, was to see firsthand some of the pain in the people's faces when they spoke about having hate incidents committed against them. For example, how it affects them being followed around in a store just because they're Aboriginal. I've never experienced anything like that myself, but to see how you could visually see in their face how it affects them, and I think that hit home with me the most.
But I know even in Calgary, like in certain areas close to the reserve and stuff, you see a lot more discrimination. Like our mom looks really native, and I mean we can walk into like a KFC, which is close, and there's always lots of natives there because it's close. And you know, like we can walk in, or I can walk in with my kids who we don't really look native, and you know the reception is like, oh hi, how are you, you know, and then my mom comes in or other natives and everyone's like weary and everything just kind of goes silent. And you know, people in my area too, I'm close to the reserve, I have some native friends, you know, they get followed around in Safeway by like mystery shoppers, and you know, and they're like, no, we're just gonna follow you, and it's like, why? Because I'm native. We look native, or because I'm native, you think I'm just gonna like steal? And they're like, we have a right to follow you around whether we want to or not, whether you want us to or not. And it's like, how is that fair? How is that, you know, it's just, there's so many stereotypes.
So we do like Healing and Reconciliation Week, and Sabrina, she ensures that the police are involved and they're part of it. So they get to know the Aboriginal community and what we do, and they become, I don't like the word tolerant because that's still a negative to me, but they come to know us and be supportive, and that's turning out to be a great relationship for us. So you have to do these proactive things to combat the racism.
I really learned a lot from it, meet different people, and you know, actually just see how other people have been experienced with the hate crime. I thank everybody that made this possible. We need a lot of these events to be happen around so people can know each other and love each other. Thank you.